Everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business. Looking forward to talking with Kevin Larimer. Kevin is a senior managing director for Berkadia Student Housing Investment Sales. He is regarded as one of the top sales professionals in the student housing industry. Over 30 years of investment real estate advisory services in multiple product types, but really a heavy focus in student housing. You focus exclusively on student housing since 2003. And in the last 5 years, you have been responsible for over $6.7 billion in assets, 120,000 beds. It's a great track record, Kevin. Welcome to Think Business. Let's kind of go back in time a little bit, right? So you've been doing this for 30 years. It's not very common that you meet somebody who's actually been doing something for 30 years anymore. And so kind of go back a little bit and let's start at the beginning. How did you get into commercial real estate?
Yeah, I really didn't know that the job I do now existed when I got into it, frankly.
Wait, did you know when you graduated, or were you in high school or college?
I did not. Actually, met someone that was in the industry, had some conversations. It sounded interesting. Started with a boutique firm in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, called the Dietz Organization, and actually started working office and retail at that time.
Yeah. I love that. It reminds me of kind of like where like my kids are 16, 19, soon to be 17 and 20. My son's a sophomore at IU, but the world's changing so fast. I don't even know if the job he wants or the career he wants or the business he's going to start even exist yet. So it's not right. All right. So you started in a boutique, but take me back before then. Like what did you do to start building even the qualities that you knew that this, once you got into it, was something that made sense and stuck for you?
This is going to sound a little funny to you, but when I graduated college, it was 91. We were in the middle of a fairly deep recession. Jobs were not plentiful, and I kind of took my first entry level sales job that at the time I didn't know what it was giving me, but the training and the background of really understanding how to outwardly go out and access your clients and that kind of level of experience and, very, deep, spending all day cold calling, really was a catalyst for, understanding at least the sales side of the business. And then, picking up the, financial background as we kind of went along, brought me up to speed. But it was really that first job that, I really thought, was almost beneath me when you walk out of college, that you're, basically you'd be spending your day all day long cold calling was really the best experience in hindsight to prepare me for an investment sales.
Yeah, position. I love that. I'm a big believer. Everything is sales and everything is marketing, right? So that's great training. I want to talk about in 91, you get into the business, there's a recession. Here we are, 2022. Recession, right? I think what separates people like you who've been in business for 30 years, commercial real estate is a cyclical business. And so having been through a couple recessions in the industry, as a professional in the industry, how do you look at your business as we sit here in end of 2022 in a recession?
Well, I think, there's two things. One, you always have to be nimble and be able to adjust, because if you can't adjust to, the times and the environment you're in, you're not going to be able to, serve your clients well. And then number two is really knowing your clients and, having that trust factor that they can tell you what's going on, especially in, challenging times, because that's the environment that we're really most needed. When capital markets are frothy, sometimes the flow and the amount of capital kind of assures things can get done. But when times are not frothy, that's when you really need to make sure that you have the background and the ability and the knowledge of what your clients really need.
Yeah, I love what you're talking about there. And I would think the challenge for clients right now is that they need somebody who's been through some cycles to give guidance to really understand what's going on. I want to connect that to what you talked about as far as, things are adjusting. I'm a business coach. I work with solopreneurs to fortune companies, salespeople, managers, C-level execs, leaders, et cetera. And one of the things I see as a common thread of all of those people is that when you are in alignment, you can take action very quickly. But when people are in an adjustment period, sometimes it takes the right person, the right guide, the right coach, if you will, to guide them out of adjustment and into alignment. So when it comes to your clients today and you bringing 30 years of experience, having seen and walked through the cycles of real estate many times before, as your clients are in an adjustment period trying to figure things out, how do you guide them into alignment so they can take some level of action?
It's really understanding the capital needs, and I think the most important thing is that, look, when you're young and you start this, you think that you're supposed to be kind of a cheerleader for yourself, a cheerleader for your clients, and that's not what you should be. Your clients want a quarterback; they don't want a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big difference is knowing how the capital stack's set up, knowing what options are available. When you've got the kind of movements and volatility that we have in the markets today, when the bond market acts like it has recently, and given a 30-year history that it really made sense to almost always be on a floater. People weren't doing fixed rate financing. Well, now those groups have seen cash flow erode and other things happen. If they've got caps that may be coming for a reset. And the cost of those, you need to be able to understand the capital stack and figure out where you can best position other sources of capital come in and solve some of those issues.
Yeah, I love it. I want to talk a little bit about your 30-year world in real estate, because I think it's so impressive.
It doesn't look like I could have done this for 30 years, does it?
No, you look 32.
Hopefully not.
Right. But it's always so interesting. And I think today, where the average person graduating college stays at a job for 2 to 3 years, and companies have to plan for that. They have to invest and train them and hope that something, that they will get a lot out of that person will help train the next person, right? That's a whole nother podcast. But what does it take to stay in an industry for 30? What did it take you, and what does it take today?
I actually think it's very much the same. You have to take the long view. Mm-hmm. If you took the short view, or if it's about you and not the clients, you're not going to be in this industry long. You can have some short-term success, but again, it goes back to building the relationships and having the trust in those relationships. Because just by the nature of the way that this business is set up, sometimes people are not sure are our interests aligned. Is Kevin coming in on the investment sale? Is he really looking at this one individual sale as it's important to him, or is it always client focused first? And the only way you stay in this business this long is if you always put your clients first and never ever make the deal about yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Think community. Kevin brings up a really important point. It's really businesses. I just want to kind of summarize to a couple of the things that you've said thus far. Sales is never beneath us, and learning those skills, but also what's in it for them. That mentality of, what's in it for the client. It really is in alignment with servant leadership, right? Being there as an advisor for your clients. Because I think people know when they know it's not about them. Let's talk a little bit about the next 30 years, right? And so I just turned 50, and I built I figured, it's the last 25 years have been pretty good. Now I want to create a 25-year business plan. So I just really have been focused on this 25-year business plan and really kind of building it to reverse engineer and just infuse a lot of the stuff as I kind of live day by day. And so what is the next, what's the secret for you for the next 30 years?
It's really, taking that, 30 years of history and all the things that you've learned and continue to apply it and, and revise things as you go along to meet the needs of the current environment that you find yourself in. Because things, change quickly in this business. And I think it's one of the things that people are most surprised by is that, when the market shifts, it's not a long period of time that it takes to shift. It shifts very quickly. And, we've always had a saying that, it's better to sell a year early than a day late.
Yeah, I love that.
No truer comment than that. Yeah. So it really goes back to, as much as I'd like to say, if I haven't done this for 30 years, I've seen it all and I've done it all. You got to realize that as much as I've seen, you still probably haven't seen it all, and you need to be able to be not only just proactive as you go, but also be able to react in a knowledgeable way for your clients, and quickly meet their needs. Which again goes back to having to be nimble and be able to think on your feet, and actually have those relationship resources that you're able to bring multiple capital solutions to the table.
Yeah. What I love about, when I talk to anybody who's been in businesses and in one industry as long as you, is I'm a big believer that our knowledge doubles on a consistent basis. And so, you're at a point now in your career where your knowledge doubles every year at such a high level. I'm making a strong assumption, I think, but you take the last 30 years of compounding knowledge and keep on doubling it. People like you and in other industries, you can really stay ahead of real time to help people solve problems. You can help people get through issues and be in front of any issue. So I think it's great. You ready for a quick speed round?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. A book that's had the biggest impact on you, a book or a TED Talk or an article that's had the biggest impact on you.
Recently the book by Iger, when he talks about his time at Disney, and now he's back there. It was just interesting to see even someone in his position. It's always about meeting today's challenge.
Yeah, Bob's great. I just read his book, The Ride of a Lifetime, and took a master's class on mastersclass.com with him. It was great. Next question. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Best piece of wisdom I've ever received. That's there's so many people. You look back at your career, especially when you've done it for 30 years, and there's so many people that have given such sage advice and kind of made you into what you are. I think the best is always that to know your limits and surround yourself with the people that help complement those limits.
Yeah, I love it. Finish this sentence. Somebody graduating college today needs to focus on blank.
on realizing that life is tough and there's not always safe spaces. You gotta, if you want to be successful, nothing beats work ethic, nothing beats effort, and all of us, I think, that have reached this level of success, you can call it luck or you can call it timing, but timing is luck. You need to work hard. You need to always put your clients first, but you also need a little luck in the factor.
Yeah. A little bit of luck works. I started an internet company in June of 1995 because that's when I graduated college, and we sold it in 97. Had I graduated a couple months before or a year later, the luck wouldn't have played a factor in it. So I'm a big fan of luck.
Look, and that's how I got into student housing. I transitioned over to conventional multifamily, had a great developer relationship that he had a relationship with a university that was seeing some of the new student housing that was coming in, and he didn't really understand it. And he asked me to come with him and look at a deal that was built out at Arizona State. we looked at it, and all of a sudden that's where the light bulb went off. So from my perspective, that was the one visit that was luck, and then slowly transitioned into student housing, and then have focused on that exclusively for almost 20 years now.
Sorry, my dog. Hold on one second. My dogs are at the office with me today. So as I'm talking to you, I forgot. So it jolted me a little. You bring up a good point though, Kevin. Kind of following the flow, listening to your instincts, listening to the universe a little bit, and kind of saying, hey, wait, this is an opportunity. And then you seize the opportunity, right? And then made an incredible career out of it. So
and look, everyone always says opportunity, there's risk in that opportunity as well. At the time, the mentality was always that, real estate was a local focus. So, going to that mentality that you can run a national platform and go anywhere, was not the normal way of thinking. And then, the expertise that you needed as that student space grew allowed me to be successful at it. But it certainly was a big risk and leap of faith to walk away from something that I'd been doing for 10 years that had proven successful to kind of start the new side of the business on the student housing side. Hey, John, you're muted.
My dogs were barking, so I thought I'd muted for a second. But I love what you're talking about, because sometimes risk and opportunity are doppelgangers of each other, and kudos to you for kind of taking the path of risk. That's great. Kevin, tell everybody who your ideal clients are and how they can connect with you.
My ideal clients are really anyone that is wants to be or is focused on student housing. We continue to bring new capital into the space. While we've seen the space certainly mature, for an industry that's still, the purpose-built side is still, only 25-ish years old, it still is, rather in its infancy. So I don't think it's too late for people to get in. We continue to see a lot of conventional multifamily capital look at student housing because, obviously I'm a proponent, I'm a little biased, but I think it provides some of the best risk-adjusted returns available in real estate. And with, where the bond market is today and where cap rates have been pushed down to on conventional multifamily, we've seen a lot of people come in looking for yield. So my ideal client is anyone that, has got the background in real estate, knows multifamily, but would consider student housing, or certainly anyone that's in student housing. We typically, I would say our typical deal size is, about, I think last year was about 47 million. We'll do anything down to, 15 to, as there's no max.
Yeah, I love it. And I just want to highlight, you work with some of the most recognized pension funds, REITs, developers, operators, servicers, and private investors in the country. Kevin, it's great connecting with you. It's great learning more about you, more about your business. I just want to extract a couple of things. I'm a business coach. I work with people who are successful and stuck. I get them unstuck. I love this podcast because I can have guests on it that can give insights and wisdom to help people who are listening get unstuck. Think community. I think as Kevin shared earlier, there's, even when you think a job is beneath you, it's really not. And it's setting you up for something much bigger than maybe you even know, and giving you the skill set that you need to move forward, whatever, opportunity comes next. And when that opportunity comes, listen to your gut and know when to jump in, because the risk and the reward, you can feel it and you can see it, but you reverse engineer that. And like Kevin talked about, you still got to work really, really hard and have a strong work ethic. I don't think that has ever changed. And, when you talk about that, it reminds me of watching my grandfather work, and watching my dad work, and watching my aunt work. And I mean, I could point to many, many, many other people, all that have been great role models for myself from a really strong work ethic. So thank you so much. Any closing thoughts, Kevin?
To sum up what you just said too, nothing beats work ethic. You can overcome a lot of things working hard. And, I know everyone says it, but you got to surround yourself with the right people, and the people that, do things well. You watch that, and you take advice from those people. You see what they do well. And on the flip side of that, you also look at the people that aren't doing so well, and, see what they're doing wrong and make sure you don't repeat those mistakes.
Hey man, you can learn a lot that way. I love that. Tell everybody if there's an email, phone number, website that they can reach you at.
Email is, my name, Kevin .Larimer at Berkadia.com. And my cell is always easiest to get me, 248-214-7027.
I love it. And Think Community, if I can help you in any way, JonDwoskin.com. Kevin, this was great. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your wisdom. Appreciate your insights. All the best to you in the next 30 years of a lot more billions for you to close. Thanks, everybody. Think Community. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, John.